But yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Backyard with the Man Cave podcast.
Hey, I just thought we talking sundown towns. Why not do it while the sun goes down?
It makes me a little uncomfortable. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like,
what do you mean? It's not a romance thing.
No, but you start talking about sundown towns, you're like, oh yeah, I want to do it while the sun's going down. It's like,
yeah.
All right, why? It's like a ritual. You want to?
We'll figure it out.
This is
Larry's last episode.
Is this something I want to know about the Upper Darby Township, bro?
It's a sundown town.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly speaking.
Upper Darby? Nah, this block has turned hella minorities.
Nah, I don't know.
Spend 2 hours outside.
Oh no, this block for sure. But you start looking at
everywhere else you go across the way. You might want to.
Yeah, some of the more expensive neighborhoods.
Yeah, where important people live.
Yeah, exactly, mayors and shit. But anyway, we got so many like comments and shout out to y'all first of all for holding us down on the first Sundown Town episode. We got so many comments and stuff of people basically telling us to like look at other places, investigate other places where y'all have experience or knowledge of these different cities that may have been sundown towns or currently are sundown towns. So what George, mostly me, have done over the last couple of days is kind of look into some of these places that y'all mentioned. And I thought it would be a good idea to focus on Harrison, which is a city. And I'm going to let George pronounce the state that Harrison is in.
Is it Arkansas? Seth, I know now that it's Arkansas. Okay. I can't stop saying Arkansas. And I feel like I never will say Arkansas.
What's so funny is every time I see it, I can't unsee the fact that you said it's Arkansas. Like I even caught myself earlier today. Like, yo, I cannot make this slip on the episode.
I will never not call it Arkansas. There's absolutely no reason that it's called Arkansas.
But yeah, so I'm looking at the National Civic League, nationalcivicleague.org. You can Google this. When they're talking about the history of Harrison, and I'm just going to read a brief snippet of it just to kind of paint the picture of what this place is like, and then we'll look at some of the funnier kind of like stuff that's happened over there that people can go and check out too. So
we talking sundown town, so you got a little comedy jits in there.
Listen, bro, I'm gonna clown this shit as much as I can. Yeah, I ain't gonna just fucking make my life miserable. I ain't no victim.
Before you get into that, it's kind of crazy because we did the sundown towns as like let's talk about it, right? Yeah. You found out it was still a thing, right?
Right.
It did surprise me, one, how much attention it got because of how legit of a real thing it still is.
Yeah.
People in the comments was like, oh yeah, I used to live in one.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
So that really kind of like surprised me at how like people really live in these places, bro.
And you know what's crazy is to live there, grow up in that culture, and then have enough self-awareness to, I don't know, move or realize one day like, yo, like I live in a fucking horrible place. Yeah. Like that takes a lot. I'm not gonna hold you.
Depending on who you are.
Yeah, depending on who you are, I guess. Yeah. Damn.
Anyway, but go ahead.
But yeah, so a small city in the Ozark Mountains, Harrison was the site of two major race riots. They were early in the 19th century. Well, 20th century, rather, 1900s. After its black residents were driven out, it joined the ranks of America's growing list of sundown towns. So when that happened, America obviously already had an established couple of sundown towns throughout the nation. Municipalities where people of color risked becoming victims of mob violence if they remained after dark. Harrison was far from unique. There were thousands of sundown towns and counties during and after the Jim Crow years, but Harrison developed an outsized reputation for racism in part because of events that were beyond the control of local leaders and community members. In the late 1990s, a man who lived in another Boone County emerged as a national leader of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. His presence and a series of provocations by area white supremacists garnered media attention. News outlets took to calling Harrison the most racist town in America. So, because of some stuff that happened early 20th century, late 1990s, this city basically got singled out as like a horrible place for black people.
Is it still the same?
Great question. So I found this YouTube video where this guy basically went to this city and held up a Black Lives Matter sign. But the funniest part is he's white.
Yeah, and I think they'll hate that even more.
Oh, what? Bro.
They'll be like, you fucking traitor.
Traitor. Race traitor. what do they call them in Handmaid's Tale? They call him gender traitor.
Yeah, I've never seen the show, but
that's funny because your wife is the reason why.
Yeah, I don't watch everything she watches.
That's a lie.
But before we play this, John,
sure.
What stood out to me is the fact that was like, oh, people of color, can't be. We had people in our comments, and the other one was like, well, no, people of color are okay. The only ones that can't go out are black people. Yeah. It's specific to black people.
Yeah,
I'm not really willing to test that theory, my guy. I'm gonna stay here,
bro. And I'm gonna be honest. Like doing the research, I think it's like a politically correct thing. I think they'd say people of color because they don't want to make black people specifically feel bad.
Okay.
But
what?
Yeah, but like the idea of a sundown town is for blacks specifically. Mm-hmm. So take it for what you will. But yeah, so this guy's going around this city holding up a Black Lives Matter sign, and he's getting all kind of shitty comments.
Harrison, Arkansas is the most racist town in the United States.
Have a little pride in your race, brother.
Have a little pride in your race, brother.
I wouldn't say after dark, man.
Honestly, dude, you have balls of steel because you could get hospitalized by some guys that want to beat your ass.
I've had several old men come by here, look out the window and tell me, says, you better go tell that nigger to get out of here.
And he's white.
If you fuck with them, you're the same.
About 10 minutes, I'm going to be back. You better be fucking gone.
Okay, what are you doing?
What about the white lives? We matter too. You're a white man. Crazy.
You're a dumbass motherfucker. You dumb shit.
We're going to have to bleep out a lot of this.
Isn't this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Are you a Marxist?
Why the fuck would we get in trouble for sharing a YouTube video on YouTube?
Once you take to Chicago or New York are cold enough where they're shooting each other.
Explain to me why Coon Cloud has.
Real fucking job.
Jesus.
Trash out of town. That shit don't make shit here.
Hey, all lives matter, not just black. You're Caucasian.
You're white.
She didn't know that.
Like a white guy.
I love the people telling him he's white like they don't, like he's not aware.
I'm just saying, you're a white boy carrying that stupid sign.
You're white, aren't you? Oh, boy. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Hey, you saying something, dude?
Yes, sir.
I am good.
Because I'm
Wait
tired
your
of
turn.
seeing this right here is the biggest hoax there ever was.
It's just the next thing to ISIS.
It is.
ISIS?
Black lives do matter, but what about ours, man?
Apparently, black people's lives matter more than us.
Apparently.
You know, the Irish have...
The nigger's gonna kill you, too. Black lives don't matter with the food.
Fuck black lives. And I have black lives.
Hey Mike, how's your day going? Walmart,
What?
they put out this statement.
Advancing our work and racial equity. Black lives matter. It is all our responsibility to embrace the fact that we say and what we say and what we do. There's no way to live our values if we don't. Reading is hard, man.
Apparently.
I would ask you to leave. Exactly what I'm saying is exactly what they would ask me to do.
And then this guy comes
love
and
that.
brings a note that's basically saying, ignore the haters. You're being peaceful. What you're doing is good. Just a friendly reminder. Don't give up hope.
And
It's cute.
he blurred out the person's face because obviously everybody in that town is going to see this video.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't want you catching the
gonna
heat.
get your ass whooped.
They're going to take you out.
He didn't even speak. It's like, my voice not going to be in it. Keep my face out of this shit.
I wrote this shit with my left hand so that they can't trace that shit back either.
Really going to have a forensic investigator? Who the fuck was this?
How was it? It looks like Nathaniel.
Johnny, that's your boy giving out that note.
I always knew he was a black
beat
lover.
the nest quick out of his ass. Yeah, man. It was just like when I started watching this video, I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, this is not that long ago. The article that he pulled up from the Walmart was in 2020. Mm-hmm. Right?
I mean, that's when it makes sense because that was when like peak Black Lives Matter was happening. That was the whole
2020. Yeah.
That's when the riots and everything was going through. So
they're acting like that just before COVID. Imagine after the world shut down, they had a chance to like all that shit up and start acting stupider. Yeah.
Nah, these motherfuckers was just like, see, you give these guys like they're so comfortable. That's the biggest thing that I took away from
because
that.
they got like-minded people around each other.
So comfortable, yeah. This is that's their spot.
Yep.
They can say and do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yep.
Because it's just more people like me around here.
Yeah.
The second that guy or me or you go in there, you a little more than me, I guess. That shit's not gonna be a good finish, bro.
I'll say I think the most the most interesting thing I've found from all this like Sundown Town talk and research and shit is that I always kind of thought that the North was like supposedly like a sanctuary for African Americans, blacks, slaves, whatever you want to call it. But New York apparently had like a shit ton of sundown towns.
Is it because there was, even though it was supposed to be that sanctuary that you said, it was supposed to be illegal, right, to have like slaves on this side of
the country.
Yeah. And there was just people who was like, man, I wish I was down south. I really have myself a, good group of black folk to take care of this farm. And then, but they never made it down there.
You getting better with the accent.
But they never made it down there. Right. So then they were
hung out.
Yeah, they were like, what we should do is just close the city down after dark.
And it just kind of
and then
spilled over into.
Did you hear about the town? Two towns over? I heard that they don't allow any Negroes after dark. We might have to pack off our shit and go over there. And then it's just like everybody around them was like, boom. But then the people that didn't want to move, right, was like, no, they're doing it about 5 states over.
Right.
We could do it over here too. And then now there's a fucking pandemic of sundown towns.
It's funny you said that because apparently there's like an older black guy who moved to Harrison. And this is like around, like, I guess, like civil rights and all that shit. And he was trying to like convince other black people to move there. So when he was there, it was like 19 black people. And then like 10 years, like 10 years ago, the study came out and found it was like 34 people total lived in this fucking place.
Like
just the 34 black people total.
That's kind of crazy.
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, you couldn't have a bigger target on your fucking back to have only 30 of you in a city of thousands of people.
Why stay there? Like, I get the idea of
prove a point.
Yeah, like you're not gonna make me move. You're not gonna push me out of where I want to live.
I'm not.
At some point, you got to push your pride to the side and understand that you are not safe, and the people that you care for are not safe.
No,
just leave.
Right, you put your
34?
family in harm's way.
You kidding me? Just drop that number down to 27 because we out of here.
They can have the school football team come over here and outnumber the shit out of you. Like,
for real, bro. Like, there's no reason to just stick around.
Yeah,
and even worse, to try to convince people to come over.
Right.
Nah.
So yeah, like a lot of people were shouting out like the Midwest and all that kind of stuff. So I guess to that point, you never really know the history of some of these places. Just kind of like sprinkled and scattered all about. And that makes me kind of nervous. Like we travel. You experience your own share, and the last episode where you talked about it. What happens? You end up in these places and. Next thing you know, you getting hung like dirty draws.
Did you were you able to find out any of the like rates, like crime rates in these places? Because there was somebody who was really trying to hit home on an argument on one of the comments in the other video
about
check the crime rates. And it's the idea that I bet you that crime rates in these sundown towns are not as bad as like crime rates as I think somebody called it, like the wrong flag town. So like Bloods and Crip town, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you tried to make the point in the comments. It's like, if there's no one there to put that crime into paper and to be like, now it's a statistic and keeping track of the, being honest of the crimes that are being committed, then I'm sure those rates are phenomenal because on paper, none of that shit happened.
Exactly. No, I didn't even waste my time because honestly, from a psychological standpoint, and a social standpoint, the less people you have in a place, which a lot of these sundown towns are small, the less people you have, the less crime you're going to have. Yeah. So no, I'm not going to waste my fucking time looking through their record book of all 5 crimes that were committed in the last year. Like, it doesn't.
You think
make,
a town
sense.
Full of black folk like that would thrive the same way the town of white people have?
Of course,
same way.
There's wealthy black towns in Maryland that have
sun up towns.
I don't know. I don't know what you would call that. I would hope it's sun up. As many black people's over there, they get like, you know what, we just gonna go where the sun is the brightest because we protect it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like we can go where the sun is the brightest and keep the rest of them out. Yeah, see how they feel about this shit. Yo, the fact that somebody in the comments said white people's cologne is sunscreen,
insane,
bro. I was hollering when I read that shit.
And you know what the funniest shit is, like, that's such a perfect answer because white people really need hella fucking sunscreen.
I think everybody needs sunscreen, but yeah, the less melanin you have, the more sunscreen you should.
And I remember I was at work and somebody was talking about, oh yeah, I was at a barbecue and we had to, lather up the sunscreen every 15 minutes. I was like, that motherfucker's just like.
Like you was the rib on the grill.
Right, you seasoning yourself up with that sunscreen. I'm like, yeah, you can't smell like anything else other than sunscreen.
Oh my God. And I hate the way sunscreen smells.
Horrible,
like fucking terrible.
I usually mix mine with like hand sanitizer.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
I'm about to say you would melt your fucking skin off. What are you trying to do? Like a COVID cure? Like Trump said, bleach your insides?
Shine the light on it.
Bro, but speaking of Trump.
Oh boy.
I really hope that if he wins, shit actually changes in his country.
In what way? How would it change?
Okay.
For the worst?
I would hope for the better. Seeing as how he almost got assassinated, right? I would hope that he's had some kind of epiphany and he's like, man, we got to do something about this violence in this country. Sonia Massey, perfect example. Lady is boiling water in her own house, called the cops because she thought it was an intruder, and the motherfucker came in there and shot her in the head.
Yeah. What did she say? She
I
said,
rebuke you.
I rebuke
in the name of Jesus. Meaning,
and because he's the devil, my man took a shot at her.
She evoked something in him. And it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make you pay for that. It's just kind of wild. Like, so I'm hoping whoever wins this presidency, I'm hoping that they will actually make a difference. Because it's been too much of the same shit going on for so long, bro.
That shit not gonna change.
Yeah.
The fuck, what would they change?
The laws, hopefully. Like something like that, you should automatically.
Bro, Trump got shot at.
Yeah.
No one was talking about we need less guns anywhere.
Isn't it wild?
No, there was nobody protesting anything anywhere. There was no conversation of the gun at all. And obviously, we haven't heard anything about the kid either that took the shot at.
It's like the stuff that we have heard has been
it's very minor. It was like, oh, he was 20 years old.
Yeah.
White. That's it.
Yeah.
If it was any other fucking situation, there would have been rallies in the streets. There would have been people talking about something. You see what happens when there's too many guns. We would have known the kid's fucking social security number with how much they try to bleed these people.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but
oh boy,
actually, I think it's interesting to see how and maybe it was just because of how like tense the country was during COVID, but like all of the George Floyd stuff, Breonna Taylor stuff, like all of the riots and everything that was happening, that stuff doesn't happen under like Democratic presidents for some reason. Like we don't see riots and all that kind of shit when there's someone like a Joe Biden or an Obama in office. So it seems like it only happens when there's Republican presidents. Am I making that up?
No, I'm trying to think. So there haven't been any protests during Biden. There was a shit ton during Trump.
Exactly.
It was like
every month.
Now, is it because people were setting him up? Because you remember the conspiracy theory that I forget the name of this organization, but they would come in
Antifa.
Yeah, and drop off bricks, right? And be like, look how fun it is to throw, guys.
Right.
And it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They were creating situations and scenarios so that riots can happen. Yeah. In order to blame it or make it look like, oh, it's a Trump or a Republican thing.
Right.
And then now there's a Democrat in office and they stopped doing it. So now there's no more riots. Then Trump's going to end up back in there and it's just going to start right back up.
That's a good point. I think also something to keep in mind is the media's tone is different when there's a Democratic president, which if you're paying attention, like it's very easy to see. Like every day there was something negative that Trump said or did on the news, and it was all we talked about. Biden's basically been incapable of running the country for the last 3 years. He stayed. Nobody started talking about it until it was time for him to go.
Yeah, and even when he was doing shit, like his kid was like under investigation, his dog was out here biting people, stuff like that. All people was really still talking about, oh, it was Trump is, he's going to court, Trump this, Trump, like even when it wasn't even Trump's spotlight, that was making it his spotlight.
Right.
So,
and then they wonder why people don't trust him. It's because
Right.
whatever playbook they developed 2,000 years ago for America, that they have not changed the script at all. We just keep seeing the same shit over and over. And then they wonder why people don't want to vote. It's because they know there's going to be the same shit over and over, and they don't want to have to deal with it.
yeah, well, you got to go out and vote.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
I voted one time my entire life.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who'd you vote for?
It was in 2020.
Who'd you vote for?
I'll keep that a secret. Trump. We got robbed.
I could believe it.
It was
No, we didn't.
It was a
No, we
stolen
didn't.
election.
YouTube, no, it was not. No, it was not. Spotify, no, it was not.
Oh,
Apple
shit.
Music, that was a perfectly legitimate legal election.
Yep. Russia had nothing to do with it.
Russia had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
The hell are you on about? Don't you see motherfucking Fox getting sued for almost $1 billion for that shit?
What'd they do?
The same shit you just did.
What did I say?
We ain't about to do that. Bro.
What? I made a joke?
No, that's a bad joke, my boy.
Well, they can have the dog. They come for me. They can.
I don't think they want that motherfucker over there eating sand.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, man, Sundown Towns. We're gonna, if this video gets 100 likes, me and Larry will go into one of them.
No.
After dark.
I don't know what Larry you talking about.
Espionage, cameras, full blown. We're gonna capture what happens.
Y'all can go. I ain't going.
Well, you know what?
You take the motherfuckers.
Somebody's
right
got to
there.
get caught for the footage. Because if we go to Sundown Towns and there's no black folk for them to get all riled up and to kind of chase down the street, it's just going to be a regular night.
I tell you what you do.
But if we get you caught a little bit, ready to go.
Call Robert Downey Jr. Tell him to put on his Tropic Thunder costume. You take him with you. And then once they catch him and start torturing him, just wipe his face off and like, hey, I'm one of you guys. And problem solved.
That'll be so fucking cool.
Well, what the fuck were you thinking?
We almost shot you.
Put the gator back in the pool. We ain't gonna use him for this one. He want ours.
Having a gator as a weapon ready to go like it's a dog is insane.
But they got them on leashes and shit down there, right?
Yeah. Like Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
We gotta have a whole nother episode for Florida.
Florida downtowns.
Nah, but as fucked up as this episode probably could have been, I think we tried to make the most of it like we usually do. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Catch y'all next week at the same time. My boy.
Not gonna happen.
Let me get you one day.